I have a Subaru Crosstrek 2014 that I took to the Subaru dealer to have some transmission work done, and they called me up and said when they were removing the fill plug for the transmission that it cracked the top of the bung off. So you can see a picture here of it completely cracked off. Now the interesting thing, this was Slap Subaru in Newark, Delaware. The interesting thing here is that they claimed that they never refilled the transmission, that they only drained it and never refilled it. So I'm going to show you in a minute the bottom of the transmission. You can see that they clearly did drain it. They told the truth about that. But when I removed the plug, it was full of cherry red transmission fluid. So you can see the back half of the transmission is wet because I drove it home with the plug barely hanging in there. I wrapped tape around it and screwed it in the best I could. So the car is unlevel right now. I jacked it up. I jacked the side of it up so that I could repair the transmission without fluid running out. And so you can see that they definitely drained it. The rest of the transmission's dry except for right around the plug. They clearly drained it, and yet the transmission was full of cherry red transmission fluid. After I drove it home, it was not cherry red anymore. The residual transmission inside, or the residual fluid inside the transmission mixed in with the fluid that they put in. So they lied to me about not filling it up. It's pretty clear that they filled it up, put the plug in, and cracked the transmission. Either way, they refused to fix it. I'm stuck with this broken transmission. So what I'm going to show you, and I forgot to video the actual repair, unfortunately, but I was able to use a Dremel tool with a small cutoff wheel and cut off the extra, the rest of the bung. So all that was left was a hole with about 7 or 8 threads. Not ideal, but it works. And then I bought this tapered M18 plug by 1.5 thread, tapered thread. That's the important part. I bought a plug online, and it was kind of rare, but I found one. And it was able to screw into the transmission, and basically we were back in business for about, $5. The important thing here is that I did not put it in super tight. It does kind of weep a little bit. I could tighten it up a little more, but it's just not worth it to me. The case is obviously weak. Shame on Subaru. In the first place, but it's clearly not a strong metal, and potentially compromised from them over torquing it. So I'm okay with a little bit of dampness around the plug. So shame on Subaru for clearly cracking my transmission by over torquing the plug. But if this ever happens to you, which clearly it's not above even a so-called professional, it is a salvageable situation. So if somebody does it to your transmission, or if you do it to your own transmission, for sure you can fix this yourself. Just get a little Dremel tool in there, cut off the extra stuff, stuff a rag in there to keep it from getting any kind of debris inside of the transmission, and order up one of these plugs and you're good to go.